Great seeing you, man. You were just mentioning just before we started, you mentioned kind of this was what, the last time we saw each other?
What's in your hat? Let me see. Oh yeah, they were closing the Hard Rock Cafe on Young near the Dunnet Square there, and turning it into, I guess, a Shoppers Drug Mart. And we were there for the closing. It was kind of a bittersweet moment, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't know if you know this or not. They're gonna reopen another Hard Rock
Oh, okay, that's all
downtown.
right.
Yeah, so
That's all right.
glad that's happened. Glad I got to see you then. I did stop by the show that you guys did a couple of years ago at the CNE.
Yeah.
And it was you know what? It's always great to see you guys. Before we get into anything else, man, because we want to talk about this big show that's happening in Toronto, you just posted something that had to do with what, renaming or naming an album? What's going on here?
Well, Mel, just to tie in with the Mod Club, we were that I think for some kind of anniversary 10 years ago, and Rob and Derek joined us for a reunion, which they won't be this time. I'm sorry to say, but it was the anniversary, I think, of Telling Lies Romantic Traffic. So 10 years later, again, it's like now it's the 40th, of like that was 30th back then. So it's always the anniversary of something. And we're just about to finish a new album. So we just showed a blank cover because we're pretty well done that record. And one day that will be the 40th of that album. It was just a funny tie-in, because we have a bunch of new songs to play at the show as well as the old songs.
What is it like being being part of Canadian music history? And because I was going through the socials. You guys have played this past year in some big festivals.
Yeah.
And it's amazing watching people my age singing back the words to your songs, seeing their kids re-singing the words to your songs. What's it like being iconic? That's really
Oh,
the
geez,
question.
I don't feel comfortable using any of those words. Like, we've just been around a long time, right? It's sort of part of our childhood, really. Like bands are for me, like you grew up listening to certain music, and that luckily our music is that way for some people. And those are the things we love to hear about. We always stick around after a show to hear everybody's stories, like how they first heard us in high school. Oh, here's my wife. I met her at high school at one of your shows, that kind of stuff, where you got me through a hard time, when I was young. And yeah, that's what makes it really worthwhile when we all kind of tie together and tell each other stories.
Is it also the fact, which I think, and I will say this a thousand times, 80s the greatest decade ever for
Mhm.
music? Not just for music. I'm sorry, for music, for a living. People
Yeah,
can find its faults. I just know that, especially these days, I can only really remember the good times. The way
absolutely. Like, oh, I mean, there was a lot of stuff to make fun of, the spandex and the makeup and the hair. But you know what? It was like one big party, but the music at the end wasn't a
Yes.
joke. The quality of the songs and the production and the variety of stuff. Like, right. Like, when did we ever see such variety across the board, from ska to electropop to new wave to heavy rock bands were also big at the time, hair bands. And it was just a wonderful party to be part of.
You know what? The one thing I always try to explain to young people is the fact that it didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian, straight, gay. We could all go to the same club and we dance together.
Yeah.
And you don't see that much anymore.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I wouldn't know being up there. I'm sort of still mentally stuck back there, and I think it's always like that, Maybe it's not. But well, that's why new generations are liking it too. Not necessarily just 80s bands, but bands that have that 80s vibe to them musically
Yes.
and style and clothes and stuff. It was just like you say, a party everybody is invited to and nobody was left out. And yeah, it was wide open. I think that's kind of like the way kids think now. They want to be part of that. It's not like you got your own little clique or your certain kind of music. No, everybody come in and join that party. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
I was just talking with artist Carl Wolf, who just released a new single, Body Talk, and he talked about how the song itself and making a music video. He wanted that old school vibe to it. And that is the one thing that, well, not one thing, there's several things, but that's another thing that I miss so much is the fact of, because we have YouTube now and social media, I miss the fact of going home and hearing about a premiere on Much Music or MTV or any of those other video shows. And finding out the Spoons is releasing not just a new single, but was a new single slash video, and we had to rush home from school to see the premiere of it. That was so much fun, and it was
Isn't that
fun
amazing?
seeing how you guys made these videos too to represent the songs.
Oh, it's so right. It's the same with us, with other bands, or before the Spoons. It was like our barometer on fashion, on music, on everything. Those videos kind of defined where we should be at, you know. And it's funny you mentioned about videos and how they were done back then. We have a new album coming out. We were going to do videos. And I said, no AI. We're going to make them old style, like really cheeseball with bad props and just, they always had the Venetian blinds with the lights shooting through. I know it's just there's certain '80s things that we want to bring back that I think people would appreciate real. A little imperfect, but it's real.
Definitely. Look, one of the big reasons why I did get in contact with you because I saw the promotion on social media, something that was never even thought of back in the
Yeah.
80s. You guys have a big show happening here in Toronto.
Yes. On Friday, December the 5th at the Mod Club. Great place. We were there, say, 10 years ago for a different anniversary. Now it'll be another one again. It's one of our favorite places in town. I think it changed hands for a little while, but it's back to the great Mod Club. We have a great band called Model opening, which are friends of mine. And they sound like the dark '80s stuff, but they're really young guys. Great band. You got to check them out.
What's the show going to be like? What is a spoon show like these days? Last time I saw you guys was the formerly known as Young Dundas Square, where I saw you guys perform there. What's this show going to be like?
Well, you know what? We have a lot of video production now, which mixes in even old videos. We're talking about videos. People love to see that. It takes them right back. So a lot of visuals. It's not just us standing on stage. You'll hear all the songs that a bunch of new ones, which we loved. I mean, hopefully you guys are going to love them too. So it's be a mix of old and new, and like we said in the post, like a few things that are untitled yet. Like I just posted. Let's name the album together because we need a title. Maybe once we play you the songs, they go, that's the title. Give us some ideas.
What is it like for you, though, to look in that audience and see young and old? And I can say old because I'm old, but what is it like seeing those folks out there, really, when you can see them singing those songs back to you?
Oh, well, that's like the prize at the end of the tournament. Like we never thought in a million years. I thought, when the '80s were over, '90s came in, that was it forever. That was it. Now, it wasn't until maybe the mid '90s. Yeah, this little nostalgia going on. People want to go backwards, and it hasn't stopped. It keeps building. And I tour in the States with Flock of Seagulls. It's a different level. The '80s, it's like bang, 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 just keeps ramping up. It's not a fad. It's not a passing, thing. It's here forever. And you're talking about a party back then. Let's just keep it going like forever.
Have you ever seen the social media posts? There's like two of them. There's one where it was like, okay, it, you know how we wanted to go back into the future? We wanted to go into the DeLorean. We went to the future. Now we just want to head back to the 80s. Or there's these other series of videos of these kids who are supposed to be in the 80s and they're saying, hey, great to see you. So glad you came back.
Yeah,
Remember this, remember that. I actually saved those because I just thought to myself, man, that's exactly how I feel.
yeah. It's hey, I'm right there with you, and a lot of people are, and that's why young people. It doesn't even have to be a band like Spoons or Duran Duran or Glass Tiger or something. A lot of the new bands, like right down from Lady Gaga down, they all have those elements,
Yeah.
like the drum machines and the synths and the funky, shoulder pads and all that stuff. So there's something about that. Everybody wants to, dress up, have fun, and not think about the world too much. And that's what '80s did.
Definitely. What's the one Spoon song that you have to play? You have to sing it. If you don't, they will burn down the Mod Club.
Well, I guess Nova Heart, right? I think that's the one. That was the beginning for us and the end and the middle and everything. We actually do two different versions. We do the original, and then we have a new. We've been doing it for a while now. It's sort of butchering our own song kind of thing, but it's very dancey, very techno, and we finished the night with it. And anybody who was skeptical, they're like won over with that version. Maybe if they didn't even like the original, they'll like this one.
Do people still talk to you guys or ask you about the ever famous TTC subway
Oh,
video? I mean, it's got again iconic.
Oh, it goes on forever. I meet people all the time who said they were in the video. I met the TTC, like a driver, I guess what they call them, drivers or the guy who runs the train and he said every morning I get on the thing, I put my earbuds in, I put romantic traffic on, and that was the start of my day. Um, there's people in the scenes. We just pick kids from the crowd, right? And I've met a lot of those people now growing up. They say, that was me. I was the little girl who was like, at the candy counter doing that. That's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
And then, of course, you cannot go anywhere without the do. Like that again. That's an anthem.
Yeah, it's so darn simple. But that
Well,
was, I told us before, but Nile Rodgers had produced that. That was his idea. Because I
that's what
was
I was
going to
going to
put,
just ask you.
yeah, I had lyrics for the verses, and then I was going to write something there. Like, I don't know, something about driving, bumping into people and love. And he heard me just doing the dude to warm up. He said, stop. That's it. That's the hook right there. Don't go any further. I said, what are you talking about? And he was right. It was just the perfect, part for the perfect part of the song. So I owe that to Nile Rodgers for sure.
Of course. Again, another big influence from
Yeah,
back
what
in
did
the
you do
day
for the
too.
spoon? Dude. That was my concussion.
What do we got planned for 2026?
We're going to finish this record. We'll probably release at least one song before the end of the year. Do one at a time for a while with videos. The whole album should be out in the spring. The working title, we don't have it for sure. It's called Push, Repeat, and Go, like an old cassette player. But it's going to change as we go. We have 10 songs done. Wait till you hear this stuff. It's the first couple songs is a song called Take the World. It's kind of what we're talking about, like taking it back from, and Better Late Than Never Did It, which I think is going to be an anthem. And touring, for that record, but always playing the old songs. And I'll be out with Flock of Seagulls as well. I got to do that. It's a little, sometimes it's Flock or Flock of Spoons because we play together. Sometimes we tour together. But we're going to keep this thing going as long as people want to hear it.
Well, we definitely want to hear it. Last question. Would you love to see this summer maybe an Canadian 80s festival?
Of course.
Just get
Yeah.
all of you guys out there,
Yeah.
Brian
Yeah.
Adams, like everybody.
Let's do it. I'm in. We've done a couple of little tours, like 3 or 4 bands, but let's do like a 3 day solid festival
Yeah.
in the mud, like
Yes.
Woodstock, 80s Woodstock. Just go for it. Yeah, let's do
Well,
it.
either way, for now, let's head over to the Mod Club. Cannot wait to see this show. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you.
this interview. Say hello to everybody else.
I
And like I
will.
said, man, thanks for the great memories.